In Space Agency, we are live at the time this is recording, which is September 17th. This is the Trump rocket, my version of the Saturn V. I even made it orange on top because this is the 4th mission, because, 4 more years and all. I make no secret, I'm definitely a Trump supporter. But this thing's going to go off. I got a pilot, 2 pilots and a scientist. The pilot and the scientist will be going to the Mun, and they will probably never see the surface of the Earth again, or the Kerbin again, because they're going to be staffing the ship known as the Duodecimus, which is one of my magnum opuses. If it works, it might not. It has enough space to carry 5 separate landers, so that should be interesting. We'll see how that works out. But we're going to get ready to launch here in just a bit. We're going to fast forward this to daylight, so it's a daytime launch. Okay, so it's morning. We're going to launch this thing early in the morning, right as the sun's coming up, because we are going to be tilting 90 degrees. And this is the 4th Trump mission. I have gone to the moon with this. I've gone to Minmus with this. And then the first Indica that it's a refuel capable lander, Indica. It crashed on the Mun on the way back, and the pilots were stranded, so I sent a Trump rocket to rescue them. That was Trump 3. So this is Trump 4, and it's going to the Mun, and we are set to launch here any second. So let's get a good angle here. I'm not going to be really looking at the screen, because I look at this, the nav ball, because that's what's important. In 3, 2, 1, lift off. It's slow going, but it'll get there. And we have liftoff of the Trump 4 mission on its way to the Mun to staff the Duodecimus project. I call it Duodecimus because you'll see when I get there. It's kind of a classified design right now, because that's the storyline. It's a classified payload. This thing takes a while to get to the 100 meters per second I need before I start moving. That's about 223 miles per hour in Trump units. It's about 2.23 miles per hour for every 1 meter per second. But we can watch the Space Center fly away. As we come up to about 5 kilometers, everything's going to be in metrics. So, because this is science, we use metrics in science. Everything looks nominal. Everything still looks nominal. Moving away from Space Center well. There's the sun. So we are heading at a 90 degree a 90 degree trajectory, which is where we need to be, because the Mun is on an equatorial orbit to the Kerbin, which is about 90 degrees, exactly, actually 90 degrees. So we want to maintain a 90 degree heading till about 12 to 1300 miles per hour. We get to about 9. You might see some fire. That's okay. That's actually somewhat normal as we hit the high area of the atmosphere at a ridiculous rate of speed. We'll now turn to prograde as we're up to 1.3 kilometers per second. We have now achieved a suborbital trajectory. Probably stop about 101 kilometers. The first stage is in fact going to fall back to Earth. It's a 1 minute and 19 second burn. That's half of 79. It'd be about 35. It'd be 70. Actually, you know what? I'm going to shave off. Okay, we're going to deploy the second stage. Ignite the engine for a half a second to get the primary stage away from us a little bit. This stage is about 2,970 meters per second of delta V. That's more than enough to get me to the Mun and back, or to get me at least to the Mun, which is in the background right there. So we'll go about 38 seconds. Yeah, about 38, 39 seconds. Because you want to go halfway to each side. You take your burn time, you divide it by 2. So half of 75, obviously it's an odd number, you can't do that. You divide that, but you want to round to the whole number. You divide it by 2, and you start at that minus. So you go minus a little bit and plus a little bit, and it evens out. Makes it easier, essentially. But we got about a minute. This is going to be pretty easy. It's just a regular. Like I said, this is the 4th Trump mission. So you've seen one, you've seen them all. But everything looks nominal so far. I'll start fast forwarding once I get into orbit and get it to the Mun. It's just this part's, I got to kind of take it easy. Alright, we got to start going here in a second. I went a little early. I did that on purpose because I give myself extra time because I throttle down to be more precise at the end. So you always want to give yourself like 3 or 4 seconds of like a buffer so that you can be as circular. You want to be as perfectly circular as possible when you're going to the Mun, because then you don't really have to play with your maneuver node as much. Like I said, you've seen one of these, you've seen them all. I've done about 1,000 of these so far. These launch missions. The only places I really have left to go are Tylo, Dres, and Eve. And that's only because the craft that I got back from Dres, I ran out of fuel while I was trying to deorbit it, and it just got flung out into the vast expanses of space with no fuel in it. And I made no effort to try to rescue it. But that first stage is long gone. We should be in orbit soon enough. Bang. Orbit. That's close enough. I mean, I'm not super worried. Yeah, it's a variance of about 2 kilometers. But that's about as equatorial as I'm going to get. That's really good, actually. That's a dead-on nuts 90-degree orbit. That's beautiful. You don't see that shit every day. Stuff. Sorry, YouTube. This shouldn't take me long at all. I've done this 100 times. It's easy. I can make that better. Yep. Let's see, I want to go dead on at it. I want to crash into it. Set myself a course to crash into it. So I can ditch that stage. So I can ditch this. Because when I pop this fairing, the lander is in here. And then I have to flip this part around and dock it with the lander. It's just like the Apollo. Exactly like the Apollo. I tried to make this as close to the Saturn V as I possibly could. And I feel like I over-engineered the hell out of it, but I would rather have too much fuel than not enough fuel. I can deal with too much fuel. There's technically no real such thing as too much fuel. The ship that these guys are going to staff, the Duodecimus, has, I think, like 40,000 units of fuel capability, and it's got 12 nuclear engines, and it's going to kick off 6 vectors on its launch, because it takes those, they're like boosters to get it into orbit. And once I get it into orbit around the Mun, it'll never touch the surface of another planet again. It's just a transport. And then I'll hook landers up to it. It's got 3 large docking ports and 2 small docking ports. Like, the thing is enormous. It's designed to be used numerous times and have several landers attached to it, so it can be refueled really quickly because I have a couple refuel capable landers. If you follow my Kerbal Space Program videos, you'll see them. But the craft is definitely a monster. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Half of 56 would be 28. Yeah, 28. So about 28 seconds we'll start burning. So about 1 minute. I'll speed that up. That was close. A 38 would be 72, so it'd be 28. Whoops. There. Now it's about right. Had to give it a little hiccup for a minute, but we're underway. It only looks like we're losing altitude. See, now we're gaining it. Quick like. That number's going to go up real fast. And see, my periapsis is rising. But like I said, I want to set this thing for a direct crash course to the Mun. Almost right in the middle of it. So that way I can ditch the second stage and crash it and not have to worry about it. It'll smash into the Mun at a ridiculous rate of speed and probably explode into a million pieces, and we'll never see it again. That's good enough. That's on a crash course. Whoops. Yeah, see. I could probably do a little bit better. Yup, there we go. That's beautiful. Now what I'll do is I'll face it retrograde so that when it kicks off, it gains a little bit more speed. It'll move prograde away from me. And I do that so it'll only gain like maybe 1 or 2 meters per second, which is like 2 or 3 miles per hour, maybe. But over the course of hundreds of thousands of kilometers, that's going to work out to be quite a large distance away. Plus, I'm going to maneuver away from it anyway, because I obviously don't want to crash directly into the moon. I want to go into orbit around it. So we just wait till this is prograde. And I've still got 1,277 meters per second of fuel, but I don't really need it because, see, I've got another 3,000 up here just waiting. So I'm not super worried. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick that off now. And as you can see, it's moving away. Albeit very slowly. And then we're going to flip this part around like this. And this is kind of wonky design. I don't know why I did it this way. It's kind of stupid, but this is how I chose to do it. This is kind of stupid. Oh, whoops. First thing I gotta do is transfer a crew. Who do I send? I send Rosdo into the can. I don't know how he got there through the damn fuel tank, but whatever. I should have EVA'd it and done it the old-fashioned way. So now we decouple this. And we go SAS. We set its docking port as a target. Whoops. And we dock it. Gravy, gravy. Easy peasy. Bang. Okay, dock. Why aren't they docking? What the hell? What the hell, dude? They should be docked, but they're not. There it is. Okay, now they're docked. So we look at our trajectory. We're pretty close. We point retrograde again. And we kick that off. So that's going to be long gone. Okay, so now we don't really need to hurry, but we want to try to get as low as we can. I like to go about 15, or as close to it as I can get. We could probably do that now. Whoops, retrograde, retrograde. I mean, I don't even really need to do the maneuver node. I wouldn't think. That might be going to the opposite. I might have to flip it and go the other way. Yeah, that's right, because I went retrograde to get it right. To get it that way, so... Alright, this won't take much. $15. It's about right. Now we're going to go here. And now that thing's gone. Both of the pieces of debris are gone. All that shit's gonna crash into the mud. There's my other one. Ta-da! We're there. Why does it say I have 493 meters per second? Oh, that's why. Because for some reason, these two engines are on. And make sure I'm controlling it from the right spot. There. Still got some time. Ooh. Sorry about that. I'm vaping. It's kind of loud. Alright, we are burning. There we are. We have good orbit. Now I think we want to face, yeah, retrograde. Do we have lights? We have lights. Ta-da! About 15 kilometers above the surface of the Mun. We are go for a daytime landing. Not quite perfect, but it'll do. So when we get to about there, actually, I'll warp to about here. There's the sun. Ta-da! Now the reason we face prograde is because once we undock the lander is effectively facing prograde, and it needs to turn around to burn retrograde. So that way I don't have to move this out of the way. I can just undock and go. I learned that lesson. Alright, we are retrograde. Lander is undocked. Whoops. Bonk. That's not a bad thing. I am coming up on it. Trying to do these incline landings is kind of a pain, because you have to take into account like the spin of the Mun and all of that garbage. But we get about 30 seconds. Shit. Oh, that's not good. That is really not good. I think I'll be alright though. I'll just have to alter my trajectory a bit. There we go. Deploy the legs. Retrograde relative to surface. Yeah, we'll get there. I'm still going pretty damn fast, and that's fine. And we have targeted the Duodecimus, the flagship of the JSA, hopefully. I don't really need to worry about fuel because it's not like this thing's going back into orbit. It's just going to kind of sit there as a lander can. I just keep like incrementally slowing it down. So it comes down pretty much right on top of it. Precision landing's kind of a pain. It's not as bad on the Mun as it is on Lathe. Lathe is the hardest planet I've ever tried to land on, as of yet. Lathe is damn near impossible. It took me like 10 or 11 saves to get my Lathe landing right, and that was rugged. Speaking of which, that craft is standing by to return to Kerbin. It just needs to wait for its transfer window. I might end up like a kilometer away from this thing, but I'm going to come down pretty close to it though. And I intentionally used most of the fuel because now this is just going to be like housing for people near the launch pad. As we descend on the Duodecimus, waiting at the launch pad. There she is on the launch pad. I'm coming down about less than a kilometer away. And I slowed down way too much because I was too busy trying to get a good camera angle. Of course I did. You astrophysicists out there are probably cringing right now at the amount of fuel I'm using trying to land this thing. Boop. Touchdown. Who's the first to go? The pilot. Love this low gravity on the Mun. It makes it so much easier to go places. Make the half-mile trek to the Duodecimus. Standing by to launch. And there she is in all her glory. Hopefully, it does what I intend it to do. Behold the mighty Duodecimus. It technically has 18 engines right now, but I don't count those extra vectors. This is a good photo op right here. Good photo op. He's pretty small compared to that thing. That's an even better photo op because it's sun side. Look at that. Dwarfed. Absolutely dwarfed by the size of the mighty Duodecimus. Up we go into the pilot area. Only holds a crew of 4 now, but theoretically I could have 12 people on this ship at one time if I staffed all the landers, which I probably will end up doing. And now for the scientist. And then we send up Trump 5 to staff more people. We'll just jump in this time, no screwing around. I wonder. I don't think I can go in there. Nope, I certainly can't. Oof. Oh boy. Get up. In you go. Half-staffed. Now we need a pilot and an engineer. Back to the space station we go. Space Center we go. And the Trump 5 ready to go. All I gotta do is load it, staff it. And we're underway. 2 launches for the price of 1. I made it to the moon in less than a half hour. Essentially. This is going to take a while because I've made a lot of ships. Some of these don't work. Some of them do. I need 2 pilots and an engineer. Ready to go. I'll give you the infamous top-down view. I'll leave it just like that, too. Everything's nominal. Nominal, nominal. Keep it as close to 90 as I can get it. And we're underway. We should start seeing the fire effects here in a minute. There it is. top down. It's not a great view at this point. Alright, well that was weird. I shouldn't have had to ditch my first stage. Probably because I did a more aggressive profile that time. I was slightly more aggressive with my launch profile. But that's okay. I've got way more than enough fuel. Way more than enough. I've got such a stupid amount of fuel that there's no reason for this mission to ever fail. Ever. And we're in space. As you know, 70,000 is the Kármán line. That's where the atmosphere terminates and you begin being in space in this game. It's not like that in real life. It tapers off real friggin' slow. It's not like poof, you're in space. It's like the air gets thinner and thinner and thinner until it gets to zero. But it's not, it's hard to explain. There's no like line where it ends. I'm gonna free float for about a minute. Oh yeah, top down. Now it's just water. Boring. Space Center's like about there. So I'm a ways away. Sun's actually coming down, I believe. We had about 20 seconds. Go about 32-ish. That's good. See, the first stage is starting to drop. It will fall into the water, no question. Come on, get into orbit. Yep, no problem. Everything's nominal. Bang. It's actually telling me I needed more delta V, but I'm at, yeah, 100, 102. That's a good variance. We want to go prograde. And repeat the same process twice. Wow, I got it right off the bat. That's cool. What do I have, 12 minutes to get that right? That's easy. Bam. Orient to maneuver, and then we're underway. Alright, we're oriented to maneuver. What is it, 10 minutes? Yeah. 58 would be 29. No, 28 would be 56. Yeah, 29. So 29 seconds. Alright, we're underway. Off to the Mun we go. I'm going to lose a little bit of altitude. But as you can see, the Mun just popped up over the horizon. That's right about when you want to go. Is right around the time you start to see it on the horizon. You burn hard. Burn hard prograde. And that's right around the time. That'll get you there. Usually. Usually. Begin docking maneuvers. Begin docking maneuvers. With even more fuel, I have 1,376 left this time. Which is way too much. Like I said, I over-engineered this thing. But it looks kind of like a Saturn V, which is cool. And that's the exact look I was going for. Alright, drop that off. Now I'll give it like a minute, because it is actually moving away from me at speed. It's not moving away at a very high rate of speed, but it's moving away nonetheless. Same drill, same drill. So Bill's going. Oh, Bill Kerman. He's been around. He's been on several missions. Dude's a fucking veteran. So aren't all three of these. Raydorf, you're going. No, I'll send Paymore, whatever her name is. I'll send her. Now what I'll do is I'll move this slightly out of the way. This way. Whoops. I gave it a little too much. Don't. That's why, because it was trying to. Now they should dock themselves because they're moving at each other. It's just going to be real slow. Yep, bam. Now we go retrograde. And we right the orbit, and we're good to go. And then while I'm doing that, I'll send back the other guy. Actually, no. I need to go more prograde. Did I just hit something? I think I did. Whoops. Oh, that's why. Why are those running? Shut those down. And activate that one. We need to go retrograde because that's the wrong way. Slight hiccup in the process. Slight hiccup. That's better. That one was what, 15? Actually, by the time he gets there, I'll try to make this one closer. I'll try to make this one like 10. You don't want to really go below 10,000 because you don't know where the peaks are. That'll work. Now orient that retrograde. And while that's flying to the Mun, we'll switch to Trump 4 and send him back from the Mun. But I'll wait a couple orbits to do it so that they're not at the same time. Like I'll do the orbit. Oh shit. Hold on a second. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so this one, prograde. I want to burn, actually right about now. Honest. And away we go. And away we go. See, I still have 2,600 meters per second of delta V. I think that's the launch pad. Yeah, it is. Huh. I probably shouldn't have done that. I'll just do this. Whoops. Not prograde, stupid. Retrograde. There we go. One day. That's 6 hours. I can't access. I can only get to the debris. Why is that? Because they're too close together. All right, back to the Trump 5. I've been muted this whole time. Unfreaking believable. Bring it down to entry. We're not going to get rid of the fuel stage just yet. I mean, I've still got a shitload of fuel left. But also because it's got RTGs on it. And I want to keep as much charge as I possibly can. Because this part doesn't have any form of recharge. So once I ditch that stage, I'm landing or I'm dying. One of the two. And this is going to take a little while, so it's about 20 past 4, if you know what I'm saying. I'm actually running low on the 20 past 4. Real low. I got enough for tomorrow, though. That's what matters. And we're going to be coming in hot. I know that much. Because we're already going 2,100 meters per second. That's like 5,500 miles per hour. 2.23. Take that number right there, meters per second, this number, and divide it by 2.23, and that's miles per hour. 4, 3. Might be landing pretty close to the space station. If my Kerbal geography is correct, I should be flying over it right about now. Should be like right there. Yeah, that's it right there. But I'm going to miss it by quite a ways. It's cool that it's visible from space. I'm not very good at precision landing on planets with an atmosphere. That's for sure. Alright, we're good to go. lose speed faster than that stage, so that stage is going to fly away pretty fast. Yep, there it goes. We're going 3.1 kilometers per second. That is hammering. See, the stage is on fire. There's no way that stage is going to survive. It's going to explode. This might take multiple attempts, too. Yep, there it goes. Bang! There goes one. I may very well take multiple trips. So that kind of sucks. It's not going to be as bad. The next one I'll go in for sure. And the other Trump rocket's in orbit, so it'll be fine. I'm still losing speed. It's okay. I'll just have to do it again. Why isn't it moving? I gotta go back to it. It glitches like that every once in a while. It prevents you from moving. So I'll just go right back to it off the tracking station. Do I not have battery? Oh my god. That is really not good. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, I think I'll be fine. I think it'll be okay. It'll orient itself. Yep. We're fine. It may wobble a little bit, but we'll be alright. Might as well just turn SAS off. Might take multiple re-entries to do this. I should have shut the SAS off. It's gonna take several. That's awesome. Huh. That was pretty good. This one, I will definitely make it. Because I've definitely re-entered at 2700 before, and I've never had a problem. And my periapsis now should be low enough where... I can't believe I'm doing this with no batteries, though. Oh, I'll just make it even lower next time. I'll make it like 25. Because it'll get into that real thick air and it'll slow down real fast. Maybe not. Not slowing down like I thought I would. Alright, I'm at periaps. I might have to do it again. Yeah, but not by much. Not by much at all. It's going to be real close. This is what happens when you try to rush because you got to take a leak. Now I'll just warp to, I don't know, probably about here. Oh, that is really not good. It might spin itself around. Hopefully. Yep, there it goes. Whew. But it is wobbly as hell. That's never good. I made the re-entry point way too high. So that's good to remember. So I'll bring it down to like 25 and it'll re-enter. That wobbling's actually working in my favor because it's more evenly heating the lighting and all the other parts so they don't blow up like the parachute. Yeah, this time will do it. This time's going to do it. Because it orbits around 2100, right around that area, so I'm probably suborbital now. Yep, I'm definitely suborbital. I'm going in this time. And it's going to be a nice, even grasslands landing. Beautiful. Looking good. Pointed the right way. All of that wobble's gone. Chute should deploy. Yep, it's going to start, the fire's going to start fading away because we're slowing down pretty good now. We're getting into the thick stuff. Down to about 2200 miles per hour now. About Mach 2. Chute's deployed, right about Mach 1, slowing down rapidly. Into the thicker air. Chutes haven't fully deployed yet, they're just drogues right now. Now's the easy part, just watch it land. And we have open chutes. Another happy landing. That could have been really bad. I can't believe I did that. I skipped it like that and ran out of batteries. That's ridiculous. But I am definitely taking a pee break, and I'll be right back. Boop. Recover. We'll go to the tracking station, switch to the other craft, and then I'm definitely taking a leak because my eyeballs are floating right now. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, it is nighttime at the launch pad, and I'm pretty much there. But do I wait and land during the day? Yes, I do. Even though this thing spins, the MUN spins very slowly because it's tightly locked to Kerbin. So it takes a day on the MUN is many, many days long. I could always switch to Duodecimus. It won't let me switch to it. What the shit? So I guess I gotta wait until it gets to be daytime. And it's gonna be quite a fucking while. Unfortunately. I know what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. I'll do it at the tracking station. It's a lot faster. I just want to get the Duodecimus in orbit. That's my goal for the evening. See, I've got this. That is the Sativa. This is standing by to make that maneuver back to Kerbin. I got the Duodecimus, the Trump 4 lander, which is there. I'm going to terminate that because I got another one coming. This piece of debris that has an interesting orbit. Eventually it'll come into contact with the MUN again. And maybe crash, maybe get flung out into space. We'll see. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, that's the fuel tank. So we'll terminate that too. Oh, shit. I was gonna friggin'... That's why I went there in the first place. Bing. Marijuana causes memory loss. On that note... Let's just land this biatch. Activate navigation. Whoops. There's a reason I did it next orbit. One, it gives it more time to get closer to sunrise, because night landings are a pain in the ass. And two, which I think night landing's pretty much inevitable at this point. Night landings suck. They really do. Now, this I need to face retrograde. I need to activate the engines. I have them transferred. I do believe. Do I? Yep. Okay. We have undock. We are retrograde, landing legs deployed. And we got 10 minutes. We're good. Course is good. Speed's good. Transfer craft should be far enough away from us by that point where I can fire my engine at full throttle and not affect its trajectory. Hey look, Kerbin's rising. That's kind of cool. It happens pretty quick. Because the Mun is a fairly small body. And it does not take that long to orbit around it, especially at the speed I'm going. I'm going at slightly faster speed than the orbit of the real Earth. Slightly faster, about 150, 160 miles an hour faster. So like a NASCAR car at a half-mile track in the corners faster than the rotation of the Earth. That's why the rise of planets and the sun and stuff is so quick in orbit. The orbital period's about 44 minutes. (537 meters per second). That's 10, 11. It's about 1170, 1180, 1185 miles per hour. So I'm going well faster than the speed of sound right now. Orbiting the Mun. Well faster. Like Mach 1.5. Actually, it's pretty close to Mach 2. Mach 2 is like 15 something. So I think the speed of sound is like 763. I may be wrong. It's in that area. It's in the mid upper 700s miles per hour in Trump units. .15, so I'll go at about 10, maybe, yeah, 10 to 8. Probably could go now and get away with it. I'm gonna. You want to kind of overshoot it a little too. I mean, if you've never landed on the Mun, you want to kind of overshoot it because you want to be flying over it when you're close. When you're like 5 or 6 kilometers up, you want to fly over it and then burn real hard to go to 0 relative to the surface as far as your speed, and then just drop straight down. You always want to be relative to surface because when you're in orbit, it doesn't take into account the rotation. When you're on surface, it does. See, I'm moving with the rotation of the Mun, so it slows down my speed relative to surface. Because you take the speed of the Mun's rotation and you subtract it from my orbital speed, and that's how fast I'm going relative to surface, which is about 10 meters per second, which isn't very fast. That's like 22 and a half miles per hour. It's fast. It's slightly faster than the speed limit on Main Street in my town, in my city. Which ain't shit, really. Why did I do that? I really don't like landing at night. I've got downwards facing lights. No, I don't. That's not good. Oh, that's so not good. I gotta do this in the fucking dark. The Mun's got significantly higher gravity than... If you've been to other places like Gili and stuff, I don't need to tell you this, but the Mun... You ever, like... Players of Kerbal Space Program, if you're watching this, have you ever, like, spent a long time on a body like Paul or Bop or Gili, and then, like, tried to do a mission to Moho and did your first landing, and you're like, oh my god, that falls really fast. I forgot about gravity. That's always a fun time. I kind of just had that experience. Because I did a mission to Moho, and what I did was I pre-staged a lander on Gili, and then I sent the craft to Moho by way of Eve, so that I got to Gili. I could refuel it, so it had a full tank of fuel. When I left Eve's orbit, I went to Moho. And then when I got to Moho, I went back to Eve, refueled again at Gili, and then went back to Kerbin from there. So I could, like, re-incline my orbit at Gili. It's because it takes a lot less fuel. And I gotta start thinking about landing here. And this is a sloppy one. I'm like 3 kilometers away. That's fine. I don't want to slow down too much because I'm still pretty high. I'm still at 20... Yeah, I'm still about 2.6 kilometers up. So I don't want to bleed off all my speed. And again, I'm not really that concerned about my fuel. But this is a crater, and I'm not sure if I'm on the side of the crater or inside the crater. So I guess I'll find out, won't I? This is the peril of the night landing. You have to just rely on your numbers. It's really hard to find that perfect balance where you're not gaining or losing speed. There it is. But I will eventually start gaining speed because I'm going to get closer and closer. The closer you get, the faster you're going to go. I'm actually losing speed. That's good. This is going to take like most of my fuel, and I really don't care about that. I care about landing. Yeah, that's not good. Okay. Okay, well, that didn't work out. They may die. Yeah, they died. Well, that's not good. Let's try that again. That's why I don't like night landings, folks. When did it last quick save? That's the question. Hopefully, not that long ago. Oh, it's already dead. Okay. Well, we'll get him there. Well, that sucks. Terminate. Mission failure. Whoops. But anyway, we'll get him to the Duodecimus. We'll get the Duodecimus in the air. Or I'll just bring it back to Kerbin, hook some landers up to it, send it to the Mun, refuel it. Or send it to Minmus. That's what I'll do. I'll send it to Minmus. Because that's such low gravity. Boy, that really sucks. I'll just terminate this thing. That's alright. We'll just launch the Duodecimus too light. I'm not worried. That was weird. This thing does not like to launch. This will be the last time it launches off a planet or off any celestial body, like ever. So there's that. Alright, I've done this once. I'm just putting that out there. I've done this once. Here we go. Told you, it does not like... Holy great already. You know what we're gonna do? Why can't I revert this? That's fine. It just takes a ridiculous amount of monopropellant to get this thing to turn, but I have a ridiculous amount of monopropellant. This does have lights. I saw it. Okay, well at least I thought it did. It was supposed to. Where are my damn lights? It has a ridiculous amount of battery, a ridiculous amount of monopropellant, and an equally ridiculous amount of fuel. It's basically just a giant workhorse. And right now I'm just trying to orient it the right way. So its cockpit is facing upwards. And like I said, I have a lot of monopropellant, so I'm not super worried about using it. And I'm going to be rendezvousing with other craft, so it is what it is. But this thing takes a ridiculous amount of monopropellant to get it moving. And it's got a ton of docking ports, so it's going to be hauling a lot of weight. And it's also modular, so I can add like other stages with nuclear engines on it. So I can make this thing have 24 nuclear engines hauling landers with more fuel tanks. I could have over 100,000 fuel on this thing. It could just be a giant moving space station. That's why I put docking ports on the back. You'll see those when it gets light right here. I made it essentially modular. So if I needed to, I could add to it, take away from it. I can also dock multiple landers to it. Oh man. Maybe I should stop screwing around. You know what I'm going to do? I have to put lights on this thing, so I'm going to do that. And I'll launch this on another broadcast. It's a cliffhanger. Because you see, the thing about cliffhangers is that cliffhangers